Hey, and welcome to practical exercise number 2, where you get to apply what you've learned so far about types of machine learning to a couple of examples. So your job here in part 2A is to identify what type of machine learning we're dealing with here. So let's go through one together. So the first one is with Google Home. So when I ask Google Home to find some restaurants near me, is this a ranking, recommendation, classification, regression, clustering, or anomaly detection problem? So take a few seconds to think about that. You can then highlight that row, and all you need to do to get the correct answer is switch text to black. And the answer for this example is ranking, because Google is essentially performing a search. Instead of using your browser to submit a query, you're using your voice, and Google's job then is to serve up a list of restaurants based on criteria like distance and rating. All right, so over to you. Go through each example, give yourself a couple of minutes, and see how you go. Notice that with each exercise, I've included an estimation on how long the exercise will take. In this case, I've said 5 minutes. Okay, so pause the video here and test your knowledge. Okay, let's spend a few minutes now to go through each one of them and check out the solutions. So Experian is, in this case, giving us a credit score of 780. The model is predicting a numerical value of something, and so it is a regression problem. So let's check out the answers. So select the row and change the font to black, and there's your answer. And so other examples of regression might be predicting how much a flight or a hotel might cost in the future. Anything that involves an output that is a numerical value. All right, on to the next one, and that is Citibank. So let's say you're banking at Citibank and then you receive one day an email about a suspicious transaction. Well, in this case, the model is essentially trying to detect something that doesn't happen often, something that is an outlier or an anomaly, and that is called anomaly detection. So there's your answer. And the next one is Netflix. And if you use Netflix, you may have seen this. Netflix says, because you watched some particular show, you may also like something else. So in this case, we haven't actively searched for this thing, but we are getting a recommendation based on our action. And so this is a recommendation problem. And companies often use recommendations to keep you engaged. And engagement, of course, results in more data and revenue. And recommendations are driven by what you do and who you are. So let's check that out. Once again, same process. And there's your answer. The next one is Google Photos. And if you've used Google Photos, you may have seen how it auto tags a photo as a beach photo. So what's happening here? Well, in this case, Google firstly determines that the photo includes a beach and then essentially drops that photo into a predefined category or classification for a beach. So this is essentially a classification problem. And what's the distinction between classification and clustering? Well, we'll talk about that in a moment. Let me first go ahead and verify that this is classification. So there you go. Google Photos uses classification to auto tag your photos as beach photos. So what is the difference between classification and clustering? So let's look at the next example to understand that. In the case of Amazon, and when you consider the size of Amazon, they have millions and millions of products that are uploaded on a daily basis. So what this machine learning model is doing is essentially grouping products together based on things that they share in common. And these groups are not predetermined. So let me quickly reveal the answer there. And that's clustering. So remember that with classification, you're trying to understand what kind of thing something is. And so your classes or your categories are predefined. And with clustering, you're trying to put similar things together based on commonly shared attributes. All right, so once you're done with exercise 2A, let's move on to the next part of this exercise, that is 2B. So in this part, what we'll be doing is finding examples of each machine learning problem type in products that you use every day. So go to your mobile phone or to your laptop and spend a little bit of time looking through the products to try to see if you can identify use cases for machine learning, and try to see if you can figure out whether it is solving a problem for ranking, recommendation, classification, regression, clustering, or anomaly detection. And the goal of this course is to enable shared learning. So at a point in this course, you will have the opportunity to share your work with other students. I really feel that a huge learning opportunity is when students are able to learn from each other as opposed to from one single instructor. And so please do spend a few minutes to complete these exercises. All right, I will see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.